Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to something new and a bit different. A little bit different. Marginally different. You know, slightly away from what we... Never mind. Welcome to Let's Play Mount & Blade Warband. A Clash of Kings. The Clash of Kings is a mod for Mount & Blade Warband. I can already, imagine people's eyes rolling at the minute, like, Dave, why don't you ever play games without mods? Go fuck yourself. I love mods, they're awesome. So yeah, we're playing Mount & Blade: A Clash of Kings. A Clash of Kings, for those of you who don't know, is a mod for Mount & Blade that does a whole bunch of really cool stuff. But the general gist is, it takes the base Mount & Blade game and sets it in the Game of Thrones universe, the Song of Ice and Fire universe. Basically, if you're familiar with either the books or the TV show, then good for you. If you're not, it doesn't really matter. It's just... you'll pick it up as we go along. Although I do recommend watching / reading, at least like the first season or the first book. That will help a lot when it comes to understanding what's going on here. But really, it doesn't really matter. There's a bunch of different guys who are wearing different coloured shirts, all trying to kill each other. That's what it boils down to at the end of the game, as far as the game's concerned, I suppose. But anyway, okay. So yes, we're going to play this. I picked this particular mod for a number of reasons, because there's loads of Mount & Blade mods out there. There's tons of them, and then most of them are really, really good as well. But I picked this one in particular for two reasons. One, because I like the Song of Ice and Fire universe. I think it's really cool. And it helped. Mount & Blade, I think, is a game that really benefits from being set in a universe that's actually vaguely interesting, because the default one in the base game is really boring as fuck, and the game suffers as a whole, I think, as a result of that. It always did for me. And the other reason is that this mod adds in a whole bunch of game mechanics that I really fucking love. So that's the other reason why I'm using it, basically. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I will begin all of this with the caveat of I don't know how long the series will last for. Mount & Blade games can go on for almost forever, really. It's probably honestly going to be a case of, because Mount & Blade is a game that can get boring. There's a fair amount of grinding in it, really, now I think about it. And yeah, I can't honestly promise you because it's difficult to say I will finish the game, because you can't really finish Mount & Blade, I suppose, unless you become a king and then take over the entire world. But you could spend like 500 hours trying to do that and still not manage it. So, basically, what I'm saying is I have no idea how long the series will last for. I will just continue to play it as long as I find it interesting and enjoyable, and that's really all there is to it. So, yeah. And if I start to get bored of it, we might move on to something else and play one of the many different mods which I chose not to play in favour of this one, but which are also really, really good. Many of which based in real-world history, as well as other stuff as well. Anyway, so let's fucking get on with it. I'm going to stop babbling and get on with it. We'll start a new game. If you're not familiar with Mount & Blade at all, it involves mounts and blades, mostly. You ride around on a horse in a little open world, and you hit other people with your sword or pointy stick or whatever weapon of choice you have, and you'll get the idea as we go along. You go for a stroll in the streets of your hometown, where when you don't worry, it's not a choose your own adventure book. It's really not. This is just the intro. When you hear that King Robert has been gored to death by a large boar, the fishmonger that you're speaking with tells you that Eddard Stark, the Hand of the King, tried to... This is all background information that you'll know about if you've read the books or seen the series, but if you haven't, I guess pay attention. Eddard Stark, Hand of the King, tried to usurp the throne, but the valiant King Joffrey's advisors managed to foil this plot, and peace has surely been restored. Yeah, no. However, a few days later, a weary traveller arrives with more news. Following the imprisonment of Lord Stark, the Northern Lords marched south to defeat the Lannisters and free their liege. This is complete incomprehensible gibberish, isn't it? If you've never watched the series or read the books, isn't it? Now I think about it, oh well. Like I said, it's guys wearing different coloured t-shirts hitting each other with sticks. At the end of the day, as far as this game is concerned, anyway. They ambushed the army of the Kingslayer, routed his forces, and captured Sir Jaime, after which they broke the siege of Riverrun. All of a sudden, the odds seemed to be turning against Joffrey, and his name is no longer shouted in the streets. Making a quick decision, you decide to strike out, hurriedly selling off your meager possessions to a fat innkeeper. Why is it Why is it a big deal that he was fat? Like, that feels very unnecessary, narrator. And packing only the most essential. You finally feel like you control your own destiny and that whatever course you take, great deeds await you. And then we get the character creation stuff. So there you go. Here's a character bio. No way in hell I'm reading all of this, but... So we're going to be a male. Our father was a, let's see... Landless knight, travelling merchant, man-at-arms, hunter, bard, thief, septon. A thief. So, all of this character creation stuff, this will determine our starting skills and starting equipment, as well as how potentially other NPCs will view us and interact with us in the game. If we start off as for example, if our father was a noble, noble characters will, view us differently to if we were, a peasant. We're going to be a peasant, though, because I like playing it the hard way. Spent your early life as a... Well, apparently I can't. Really? There's no peasant option? I feel very disappointed. I'll be a street urchin. Later, I became a farmer, a thief, a scribe, a soulsword, a game poacher, a blacksmith, a goods peddler, a begging brother, a bard, acolyte, squire. A farmer. A reason for adventure? Being forced out of your home. I will explain all of this in a minute. That'll give you strength 10, agility 7, intelligence 5, and charisma 4. Plus 2 to iron flesh, 1 to power throw, 1 to power draw, 5 to athletics, and a bunch of other weapon-related skills and stuff as well. We get quite a big bonus to spears, being a farmer, it would seem. Must be all that pitchfork wielding, I suppose. Anyway, there you go. So, yeah, this is a bio. It generates for you, automatically. I will click Fog of War on, though. I do want that, actually. Let's see. So, right. Done. Allow me to quit without saving. Honestly, just in case some monumental fuck-ups occur. Right. And or I get some sort of save game issues or something like that. Okay. Our name... Well, I'm picking a name that, in the grand tradition of George R.R. Martin's works, we basically pick any random, ordinary, real-life name, and then we add a random fucking bullshit syllable onto the end of it. Like Ed Ard, or Rick Ard, or, Tommen, So we're going to be Bob Ard. Bob Ard. Bob Ard the farmer. In the Game of Thrones books, which are fantastic, I feel that, as just a general observation after having read the books and watched the series, the characters that get consistently screwed over more than anybody else and never have a say in anything are the peasantry, the poor farmers and townsfolk and stuff. They always get absolutely shat on by everybody else, and they never really get a say in anything. So, in light of that, we shall play as a peasant, a complete and utter nobody, who is destined for great things, I suppose, because you always are in Mount and Blade. So yeah. Now you might think, with a name like Bobbard, I've put zero thought into this character whatsoever, and you're close. I've put almost zero thought into this whatsoever. Our little backstory, if you like, for this character is that there's a couple of villages over in the Riverlands somewhere in the first book, or first series, I guess. I haven't watched the first series in ages, so I don't remember if it's even in that. But in the books, at least, there's a couple of villages in the Riverlands which get completely raffle-stomped all over by an army led by a bloke called the Mountain, Sir Gregor Clegane or whatever. And he's basically a complete bastard, the guy. He's a total arsehole of the first degree. And he basically just rapes and burns and pillages these two villages. And so, Bobbard here, I have decided he was one of the people living in one of these villages, and having everything burnt down around his ears, all his friends and family dead, and etc., etc., he's just decided, fuck it, I'm out of here, I'm leaving. I got nothing left for me here, I'm gone, I'm out of here. And so that's Bobbard for you, basically. He was a peasant whose village was burned to the ground. I told you, like I said, almost zero thought into it. So there you go. We'll give him some points. These will have, obviously, side effects. Strength makes you tougher and stronger, i.e. you do more damage. Agility gives you more skill points for weapons and stuff like that. Intelligence gives you more skill points to spend here. Charisma has affects other skills and stuff like that. What I'm going to do is he's not going to have much charisma, is he, to start off with, our little peasant friend. He's done a lot of manual labour in his life, though, so I'll give him plenty of strength. And maybe a little bit of agility. There you go. So let's see. Skills. Let's give him... I don't think he's done much riding. He's a peasant after all. He's never ridden a horse in his life, I would imagine, unless it was like maybe a donkey. Let's see. I'll give him a point in riding, because maybe he has ridden a few donkeys. Oh god, that sounds really wrong. Now I think about it. Forget I said anything. We'll give him a point in tactics, and let's see what else. First aid. Yeah, we'll give him a point in first aid. You're going to tend a few wounds when you work on a farm every now and again, haven't you? And trade. Farmers are really good at ripping you off, in my experience of visiting farm shops in the UK. So, yeah, definitely give him a point in trade. And a point in power strike for melee, fighting and stuff like that. And weapons-wise, I'll give him some points in one-handed weapons, and we'll call it a day. There we go. I'll give it a minute while it... Okay, and then we get to design his face. Let's see. One I have in mind in particular. It's a hideous one. Where is it? Come on. Not you. Yes, you. Ah, yeah, look at that. Look at that beautiful face. Like, he was, you know, his village was burned to the ground, and he was probably stuck inside when it happened. So yeah, he's got a few scars. I think we might dial back the severity of that slightly. There we go. That'll do. That would also account for his terrible charisma score, I suppose. All right, that'll do. Hair. I'm not sure. Should we make him bald? Yeah, make him bald. Why not? There you go. Oh, face only a mother could love. My god. Okay. And a beard or mustache of some description or something, maybe. Something a bit rough looking, I guess. That's a bit much. That'll do. That'll do. I like that. We can change his appearance anytime we like, by the way. It's one of the things I do like about Mount & Blade. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Bobbard. The mightiest peasant of all. We can mess around with his facial features if we really want to. To what end? I don't really know. He's probably going to be wearing a helmet 90% of the time anyway, so I mean, oh my god! Angry. Oh my god! Angry. He's got an axe to grind, this fella. We'll make him fairly stern looking. There we go. Cheeks. Fat cheeks. Thin cheeks. Fat cheeks. Thin cheeks. Quite gaunt looking, I suppose. And, eye to eye distance. You know what, Bobbard? I think that will do. Done. You join a merchant and his family travelling towards Storm's End. Green shoots of wheat, barley, and oats are all across the dark soil of the rolling hills, and on the lower slopes of the snow-capped mountains, herds of cattle or ox. And, is that how you pronounce that? I really don't know. And sheep. It looks like one of those words that has a really bizarre pronunciation that's completely different from the way it's spelled, you know? But whatever. Anyway, are grazing on the summer grass. Occasionally, too, you catch sight of one of the great war horses that are the pride of the nobility. The land here is rich, but also troubled, as the occasional burnt-out farm bears witness, a testament to the chaos the Tyrell host caused when it marched through 16 years earlier. You keep a wide berth of the forests where desperate men have taken refuge. While passing by the burned ruins of Summerhall, excuse me. My lunch is fighting back today. Oh god. Summerhall, the merchant, declares that he's changed his mind, wanting to take his wares to the Weeping Tower instead, having heard of Lysini galleys docking in the nearby harbour. Following a long trek through the Rainwood, you finally see the Weeping Town in the distance. You're exhausted by the time you find the inn, where you quickly stash your belongings, and go in search of a decent tavern where you can have a well-deserved dinner. According to an old blind man sitting in the corner between two buildings and drinking a mug of stale ale, a kraken has been seen off the coast of Dawn, and a five-headed calf has been born, killing its mother in the process. Surely an omen to be taken seriously. Dismissing the old fool as crazy, you continue towards the tavern. All of a sudden you hear a sound that stands the hairs of your neck on end, the rasp of a blade sliding from its scabbard. And thus the tale of Bobbard the Mighty begins. As soon as it's finished loading, that is. Blue circle of doom there for a second, but it's okay. That's us, by the way. Apparently we managed to get a sword from somewhere. And here's our assailant. Put up a bit of a fight, this one. Oh my god. Gotcha. You know what, Bobbard, you're not a slouch with a sword, mate, are you? Well done, Bob. Osbert Clerk. Are you alright? Well, I guess you're alive at any rate. I'm not sure that we can say the same for the other fellow. That's one less thief to trouble our streets at night. Although the father knows he won't be the last. Anyway, let's talk more inside. There's a chill to the air I'd rather be without. The merchant takes you to his house. Once inside, he stands by the door for a while, looking at the dawn, and then suddenly comes near you to speak. Now, let me explain my proposition, as part of your character model obscures my face. You seem a little disoriented. I do not know who you are or where you're from, and to tell you the truth, I do not care. I am just a simple merchant, and if I've learned anything, it's that the merchants are the first to suffer in the hard times. No, it's the poor peasants that are the first to suffer in hard times. Ugh. So I am planning to travel to another country, peaceful and rainless, I hope. I have heard that in the free cities, gold flows from watery fountains, so maybe I'll try my fortune in Pentos or Volantis. That's probably a lie, mate, but, you know, good luck. Anyways, I advise you before I leave to do the same and seek your own fortune in other lands. War is sure to engulf the Seven Kingdoms now that the hand has been executed, and the people will be nothing more than war fodder. Poverty feeds on the weak, and the strong men abuse the sword and the lance to impose their power and control over the humble ones. In order to trade, we must pay heavy taxes in each city, sort out bandits and pirates, and pray that a local lord, ignorant and lazy, does not decide to get half of our merchants. Does not decide to get half of our merchandise to fund his next feast or buy a new horse for his son. This is the reason voice acting was invented. Fucking hell. But I am getting ahead of myself. Take my advice and go across the narrow sea until a new king has been crowned and anointed by the High Septon. Law and unity will remain a vulture's feasting table. So I say, seek your destiny elsewhere. We do plan to go to Essos. We're going to cross the sea and fuck off. Go seek our fame elsewhere outside of Westeros for the time being. But if I click this option, it will give us a little bit of a quest type thing to do. So for now, we're semi-convinced that we're going to stay and make our fortune here, but we're probably going to change our mind very soon. I think I'll stay. War brings opportunity, and I mean to seize my chance to make a name for myself. Yes, this humble one is bored of being humble. He's fed up of it. He's going to make his own way in life, I guess. Oh, well, I suppose you're right at that, but remember this. War also brings maimed men and raped women, dead children, and shattered hopes. Still, you have a certain look of ability to you. Take this silver and remember me should you ever make something of yourself. Thank you, my friend. Fair travels to you. And now we may leave by pressing the tab button. And there we go. That's the introductory bit done. Welcome to Westeros. Well, Westeros is this bit over here, and Essos is this bit over here. And welcome to the world of Mount and Blade, Clash of Kings. Now, where are we? We should be around here somewhere. There's us. Bobbard, there, just stood there by himself. So this is what the overworld kind of looks like. This is how you move around the world. You're on this the overland map, as it calls it handily in the tutorial, which I'm not going to read. And you click and you move around like that. So it's not like if you got your hopes up when I said open world, like you were thinking like Skyrim or something like that, no, fuck no. This is this game was made by a team of developers, like, you know, 10% of the size, if that, of Bethesda game studios. So what were you honestly expecting? But you know, that's not the important bit really. So yes, we're here. We're here in the Stormlands. That's what this kind of area here is called. Our village that got burned down to the ground, by the way, I think it's around there somewhere. If I recall correctly. If I recall my Westerosi geography correctly, which I probably don't. But I can think of it. I can name a few landmarks. I think that's the God's Eye, they call it, and that's the Isle of Faces in the middle. And that's the Vale. This is all just the north. That is the Wall. That's the Iron Islands. This is the Westerlands. This is Dawn down here. And this is all Essos, and yeah. So anyway, it's a big old world out there. Really, really freaking big old world. To the point where I almost couldn't find where I started, actually, for a second there. So anyway, we're just one guy. We are going to get destroyed by anything and anyone we walk into at the minute. Our inventory consists of a cloth tunic, a pair of shoes, and a rusty sword. We have a bag of grain, a barrel of ale, and some bread, which is not a bad start, actually. A whole barrel of ale, I mean, fair enough. We're going to sell it immediately, though, because it's a trade good. It's not technically food or anything. Food, you can tell it's food because it adds to party morale, as you can see this. We've got a bag of grain, which we can eat, technically, and some bread. And you do need to provide your character and your party and your retinue with food in this game, otherwise they'll get very annoyed because they're going hungry and starving. And they'll bugger off and leave you, as rightly they probably should, honestly. So yeah. So, Mount and Blade, this wonderful game where you start off as a tiny, puny little individual guy in the middle of a big, gigantic world full of scary stuff, and eventually you grow and become more and more powerful until you command a vast army, and then you can invade continents, and you can conquer cities, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. It lets you do all of the cool stuff that, to be honest with you, I always kind of wanted to do in an Elder Scrolls game, but the game would never let me. That is 11 broken men. We want to stay away from them. They're currently running away from Lord Julian Swan, who is there. He has 91 soldiers. He is from the Stormlands, which is a faction. There's all of this stuff with the yellow letters over it. This all belongs to the Stormlands. We can't see anybody else's stuff at the minute because I turned on Fog of War. But, yeah. That's a little village, Grand View. It's Mistwood, that's where we were earlier. Oh, sorry. No, it isn't. We're in the Weeping Town. And then there's a port where we can jump on a boat and sail off if we want to. There's Greenstone, Estamont, yeah, loads of stuff here. Loads of stuff. So, yeah, we can do all sorts of things. We can become a trader. We can trade in goods to get rich and make money. We can join an army. We can make our own mercenary band and go do quests. There's all sorts of things we can do. For now, we're going to start off by just visiting the Weeping Town. We'll just take a walk around the streets and see what's what. There we go. Welcome to the Weeping Town, apparently. This is where we just were. We're walking straight back in after having left, I suppose. A new beginning, part 1. This is the only quest in our quest log at the minute. The merchant gave you a heavy bag of silver, enough to start your own career as a sellsword, merchant, or outlaw, or begin the long and arduous journey towards lordship. You can strike out on your own or search the town for people who might have need of your services. Talk to Septon Garibaldi in the Castle Hall of the Weeping Town to learn more. That is what we shall do. We'll go talk to the Septon, who, if you're not familiar with the whole Song of Ice and Fire universe, he's a priest, basically. of the Church of the Seven, which is the main religion in this part of the world. There are a whole bunch of different religions. It's the Song of Ice and Fire universe is very, very dense. It's very interesting. It's got a lot of depth to it. You know, it's one of the reasons I like it, honestly. It is a fantasy universe, obviously, but it's quite low on the whole magic and fireball throwing mages side of life, which is a refreshing change, although with some notable exceptions. It has to be said. But yeah, that's a veteran Stormlands man-at-arms. He has some very cool armor, a very cool helmet, and I'd like all of this stuff, but I can't have it. Even if I could attack him, which I can't, he'd just demolish me in like one hit. Like, it'd be 30 seconds and then I'd be dead and that'd be it. So, I am just a peasant who somehow managed to acquire a rusty sword. I don't know how that happened. I probably found someone dead by the roadside on my way up here, didn't I, really? And just pinched the sword from him. Now that I think about it. A horse merchant. I'm thinking of buying a horse. And as you would expect, yes, we can buy a horse. Or a mule. We may have to settle for a mule, to be fair. We have 200 coins. I will sell this barrel of ale. I'll give us 96 coins. Which will give us 296 in total, which means I can't even close to afford a simple mule. There's all sorts of different horses you can get. They all have different stats. A champion destrier, look at that. 11,700 coins. Oh boy, we got a long way to go, folks. Yeah, I'll give him the barrel of ale, I'll take the 96 coins, and you can keep your mules and stuff, because apparently I can't even afford that. Tell me, what are people talking about these days? Well, nothing new lately. Prices, weather, the war, the same old things. Goodbye. Hello, townswoman. So let's see. Who's this over here? We have an armourer and a begging brother. Good day, what can I do for you? I'm looking for some equipment. Wow, look at all this stuff. Thick, heavy plate armor, 11,000. That's some pretty amazing armor, though. But I don't even have the skills to wear it. I'm a bloody peasant, after all, don't forget. A rusty great helmet. I can't wear that either. Wow. Yep. I'm just a poor, little, lowly peasant who barely even knows the pointy end of a sword, apparently. What has he got that I could potentially... Oh, Jesus. 195 coins for a hood. Are you taking the piss, mate? We should get some form of headgear, though, really. Really? We might have to settle for that, you know. Wait, it gives +3 to head armor and -2 to head armor. Wow. That one, you'd get a grand total of -1 to head armor if you were to wear it. This tattered hat. Yeah, how about no? What about a regular hat? I'll give us +5 head armor and it'll set us back 97. Basically, that'll set us back the cost of our ale barrel we just sold. I'll take it. Bought a hat. Well done. Goodbye. And begging brother. Do you have a need for holy men? I'm looking for a master. We'll join you for 20 coins. No. That would, if we could give him 20 coins, and we would have a couple of begging brothers following us around who could help us out in fights. But at the moment, maybe we'll come back and get those guys later if we are in need of, you know, manpower or whatever. But you have to just excuse me a second. My audio cable for my headphones is really misbehaving itself, and it's making the in-game sound really weird. I have to keep fiddling with it. Right, well, this would probably be the Lord's Manor of some description. Door to the dungeon. What do you want? Who is imprisoned here? Currently, no one is imprisoned here. Very, very good. Very good. Right, well. We can actually use the tab menu and we can quickly go to the tavern. It's a much quicker way of moving around. You don't have to just go into the actual town world area and walk around. Bilacquo Mentarios. Yes, what do you want? You look like a soldier. What are you doing all alone? What every soldier alone does. I'm looking for employment. I've served as a palace guard for the Archon of Tyrosh, and lately I have fought in the disputed lands as a member of the Brave Companions. I'm a master of the spear and short sword, and in the Brave Companions I served as a regimental officer until that madman Vargo Hoat took over. As an unpleasant and vile man if ever I saw one. I could always use a good soldier. Splendid, I assure you, your enemies will tremble when I travel with you. My sturdy spear shall... Oh god, he's talking about his sturdy spear, Jesus. Shall bring us many great victories. Yes, they will, clearly. I pledge my sword to you, my lord. Before we leave, I ask that you pay me the customary 1,500 silver coins for my service. Yeah, I can't afford that. What do I look like, a millionaire? I'm a peasant in a woolly hat. Get a grip, dude. Veteran sellsword man-at-arms. These are mercenaries that we could hire if we wanted to or had the money to, which we don't. There's Osbert. There's some castle guards. Sif, there's steam coming off that empty plate. Okay. Is that apple tart? It is. Oh my god, I want some apple tart now. Aleria, the tavern keeper. Good day, dear friend. How can I help you? Have you heard of anyone in this realm who might have a job for a man like myself? Well, King Renly Baratheon is often looking for sellswords to fight in his wars. Of course, the land is currently at peace, so you may have better luck in other realms. Well, it's not at peace right now, but well, it won't be for much longer. There may be other work, of course. Lords and guildmasters often have other tasks we don't hear about. Also, the villagers around here frequently need help, although they'd be more likely to pay you with a wedge of cheese and goodwill than with cold hard coins. I'll keep my ears open for other opportunities. You may want to ask again from time to time. Fishes. Lots of fishes. Right. Yes. So, realm is at peace for now, but it won't be for much longer. You'll notice that was a King Renly Baratheon. There are a lot of Sir Felton flowers. I'll talk to you in a second. You'll notice there are a lot of kings. Mostly because everyone who thinks they should rightfully be king calls themselves king in Westeros. So there's like 5 of the buggers just, warring it out between each other in a ridiculously big civil war. Sir Felton Flowers. Greetings, fellow traveller. Would you join me for a mug of stout ale? Certainly. With whom do I have the pleasure of drinking? I'm Sir Felton Flowers, the former Master of Arms at the Eyrie. I was promoted shortly after Lord John left to take up his position as Hand of the King in King's Landing. With most of the King's Landing's like the capital, if you're not familiar, of the entire of Westeros. Basically, it's a big ass city where the King of the Iron, the 7 Kingdoms, basically. Confusing, isn't it? Really, now you think about it. But anyway, it's the capital. With most of his household following him, the Eyrie did, in truth, not need a Master of Arms, but who was I to question Jon Arryn's wisdom? It paid well. It was a position of fair respect for a man bastard-born, and I did not want for nothing. You can tell he's a bastard because his surname is Flowers. In the Song of Ice and Fire universe, they have their own kind of thing when it comes to bastard surnames. Bastard, obviously, being someone who's born out of wedlock. In the real world, in the real Middle Ages, certainly in sort of Scotland and I think England and stuff like that, if you were a bastard, you'd be called Fitz somebody, if I recall correctly. So Fitzroy, or Fitzpatrick, or whatever. So you're so and so's Fitz, they're bastard. In the Song of Ice and Fire universe, bastards basically just get given a generic surname based on what part of the world they're from. So if you're from the Reach, your surname, if you're a bastard, is Flowers. If you're from the North, your surname is Snow. If you're from the Riverlands, it's Rivers. If you're from the Crownlands, it's Waters. And I think if you're from the Westerlands, it's Hill. So if you see a character with any of those surnames, you know they're a bastard, basically. Anyway, things continued much as they had once Lady Lysa returned, although I confess I would have liked to beat that son of hers, a weak coward if ever I saw one, which is not what Lord John deserved. Anyway, recently a singer joined the household, a petty and sallow creature named Marillion. Sadly, however, the Lady Lysa is very fond of him. When he tried to rape my maiden daughter, I beat him bloody with my own fists. And for that, Lady Lysa banished me. Not the singer, me. I had no choice but to send my family to live with my Lord Father in the Reach and hit the road in search of work. I could well use a knight in my retinue. You know, implying I actually have a retinue, which I don't, but... Well, that certainly is most welcome news. I shall not betray you, my lord. I shall, however, say the words of fealty somewhere other than this stinking tavern, if you don't mind. Certainly. Thank you. Now, to seal off our... here we go. To seal off our agreement, I ask for 5,000 silver coins from you. Knights might be true to their lord no matter what, but they'll be ever more true if they can afford to feed themselves. Sorry, I can't afford that at the moment. Yeah, our 200 coins are basically pocket change at this point. So we're not going to find anything useful here. Let's go to the town hall or the castle or whatever and speak to that Septon. Here we are. Right. So, ooh, nice suit of armor. Check that out. Huh. Septon Garibaldi, I presume. I am Septon Garibaldi. Well, good, we cleared that up. May the Father above watch over you. Now, how can I help you? Do you have any tasks for me? No, not right now, but I've heard that one of the tenants of Cairn Hall has been seeking a knight to get rid of an wight, or a grumkin. Who can tell what goes on in a peasant's mind? Oi! He has made his home in the tavern. I also overheard Lord Swan's captain of the guards, Sir Clifford Gower. We saw Lord Swan, didn't we? Outside chasing some broken men, if you'll recall earlier. All these people that are mentioned and are talked about in this. They're real characters, NPCs in the world that go around doing stuff. The wonderful thing about Mount and Blade is it is this big, persistent, semi-randomly generated world full of characters and things and events that happen with or without you being involved in them. So, anyway, Sir Lord Swan's captain of the guards, Sir Clifford Gower, talk about some letters he needs delivered to some minor lords. Sir Clifford went out hunting this morning, but he should be back in a few hours. And yes, if you have the time, Bobbard, I need a letter delivered to Archmaester Harrodon at the Citadel in Old Town. Very well. We got 200 experience and we are going to go deliver a letter, apparently. The Knights of the Mind, Part 1. Septon Garibaldi asks you to deliver a letter to Archmaester Harrodon at the Citadel in Old Town. A new beginning, Part 2. Clifford Gower, the captain of the guards, needs someone to deliver a letter. Yep, that's what we're doing. Terror in the Cairn, Part 1. Septon Garibaldi told you of a farmer in need of help. You can find him in the tavern of the Weeping Town. Alright. We'll go to I suppose we might as well go back to the tavern and find him now. And look, as you can see, this is Lord Swan's men because they wear his colours, his banners on his shields. The Swan. House Swan. That's pretty cool. So you can tell whose soldiers they are just by looking at their shields and their heraldry and stuff, which is pretty cool. And they're part of the Stormlands because they've got the whole crowned stag motif on there, which is the Baratheon sigil. Anyway, let's go back to the tavern. Right. Fountain Flowers, yeah. Goodman Tom. Oh my god, it's a 20 House Goodman. Men, even. Can I help you? Are you from Cairn Hall? Yeah, yes, I am. Tom, the Elder, sent me here to find a knight true and honourable. Yes. Septon Garibaldi said you'd been... well, I don't really have a peasant voice, do I? Should maybe make a bit more effort with it. Oh, yes. Septon Garibaldi said you'd been having problems with a wight, right? Yes, a revenant, a wight, a ghost. Saw it myself only 3 weeks ago. Pale and with red eyes. It was flying through the night in a crate made of bones. What? Made me shiver. Make no mistake. The men of the village agreed with me. We need to... and faithful man to... The typos are real, aren't they, really? Good grief. A faithful man to slay the beast. A knight like Aemon the Dragon Knight from the stories. Perhaps I could take a look at this wight myself. Are you a knight? Oh, I'm sorry, of course you are. My father always told me the city was full of knights. Go to my village and slay the revenant, brave sir. It haunts the old cairn, sure as day. Very well, I will go have a look. Terror in the Cairn Part 2. Okay. Wow. This is developing, isn't it? So, one of the things I like about this particular mod is that it adds a lot of fun little quests like this, which you don't normally get in the base game. The base game is very much a big open sandbox. But this, the Clash of Kings mod adds a lot of sort of story-based stuff, which is really cool. Terror in the Cairn. Let's go check this out, because the Citadel Old Town is quite a way away from here. That's a bit of a trip. Cairn Hall. Okay. It's a white, apparently, in Cairn Hall. It's probably not a white. It's probably not. This is, you know, Westeros, which in the Game of Thrones universe is a fairly mundane place. So it's probably the poor silly peasant is thinking, oh, it's a white. Oh. Honestly, probably just a bloke under a white sheet or something. Who knows? We'll find out. Right, we're still by ourselves with crappy equipment. But we do have... Oh, there's the letter. There's Garibaldi's letter, okay. But we do have one advantage. In Mount and Blade, you cannot die. Ever. You just don't. You can get knocked unconscious. You can get taken prisoner. You get thrown in jail, be ransomed, get horribly maimed and wounded, but you can't actually die. I'm choosing to interpret this as Bob here is being one of those characters in the Game of Thrones universe which is basically kind of immune to death. There's a god, there's a religion in the Game of Thrones universe. Is it called Law? I think it is, something like that. And particular followers of this religion or particular people that are deemed important to their god, that I think they call the Lord of Light or whatever, is that they sometimes come back from the dead. There's one particular character in particular called Beric Dondarrion, who travels around in the books and in the show with a priest called Thoros of Myr, and he has the ability to rise from the dead after he's been killed. He keeps a lot of his wounds that he's received in being killed, but he actually does come back to life afterwards. And to be honest with you, the way I'm kind of choosing to interpret it in this particular game of Mount and Blade is that Bobbard here, for whatever reason, has been blessed by R'hllor, and he's actually incapable of dying. No matter how many times he gets shot, stabbed, kicked off a horse, taken prisoner, dragged around by bandits, doesn't matter. So, like I said, destined for great things are young Bob here. So, yes, we want to go to Cairn Hall. That was it, wasn't it? Cairn Hall. Question is, where the f is Cairn Hall? I have no idea. I don't see anywhere here. There's the Howling Hill we could go have a look at. But that's not Cairn Hall. If we go here, I can't click on Cairn Hall now. That's annoying. Notes, locations, Cairn Hall. This might have been a silly, possibly very stupid side effect of enabling Fog of War that I probably shouldn't have done, but we'll see. Cairn Hall. I can't really find it here at all. Cairn Hall. I have no idea where Cairn Hall is. I suppose maybe we just better go wander around the Stormlands for a bit until we find something looking like Cairn Hall. So you can't see us right now, but we're walking around in all these trees. Big old forest here. And there's the Howling Hill. Cairn Hall, there we go, that's what we wanted. I suppose we could visit the Howling Hill. One of many locations in the mod that you can explore and get experience for doing so. Some of them are actually very important locations from the original story. Some of them just places that are mentioned in the lore, if you like, that you can just sort of go around and explore. The Howling Hill, not one I'm familiar with personally. At least if I can't, you know, I don't remember it from the series, and I'm only about halfway through the book, so it doesn't ring any bells. But it's probably a place of some significance. Oh, we just leveled up. Nice. The cave beneath the old and gnarled wirewood appears to have been the home of some people not too long ago. This area is isolated and deep within the Rainwood. Perhaps the previous tenants were outlaws. And we leveled up, which means we can press C for the character screen and grab a point of agility, I guess. Let's see, a point in power strike is always good when you can get it. And a few more points in one-handed. And let's see, what else? Maybe archery? I could see young Bob here being reasonably proficient with a bow. Might be something I want to focus on, a bit of archery. I don't know if there's much to find around here, but we can have a little poke around for a bit. How long have we been recording for? 46 flipping minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll explore a bit of the Howling Hill, and then I think that will be it for today's inaugural episode of this series. Long may it rain, or not. We'll see what happens. As I said, Mountain Blade is one of those games that is awesome, but can get very tedious after a little while. So we'll see how we get on. It's my hope that this particular mod will keep me interested to the extent that I actually end up playing a lot more of it than I normally would a game of Mountain Blade, to be honest with you. Because there's the exploration factor with this mod that you don't really get with the original game. So the fact that you're in a universe that I'm kind of familiar with and I find interesting, and there's places I want to go and see. Howling Hill evidently is, well, perhaps not a great example considering I don't know what it is, but you know, there's other places. Well, ominous music for wandering around and not finding anything, I suppose. Spooky place. Spooky, spooky, spooky place. Yeah, we could be around here for a long time looking for stuff. We found that little cave. Doesn't seem to be much else though, does there? I'm going to climb back up to the top again. Through all of this undergrowth. Ugh. How high does it go? Where is effectively the top? I'm curious. This looks kind of like the top here, really, doesn't it? Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mountain Blade, A Clash of Kings, and I think we shall leave young Bobbard here, staring out onto the horizon, wondering what fate awaits him out there in the land of Westeros, and perhaps even beyond. In fact, definitely beyond. For now, though, folks, that's enough from me, and I will catch you next time with the next episode of Let's Play Mountain Blade: A Clash of Kings. Till then, have a good one, everybody, and I'll see you whenever. Toodles.